Hello, this is Adam with Performance Marketer, and here we focus on giving the most value out of customers coming into or prospects coming into your funnel. And today we have Brian Johnson, who's a holistic health coach, and he does a few things. So I'll let him get into that. But how you doing, Brian?
Doing great, man. Yourself?
I'm doing great. So you're with Think Great Lose Weight. .com. If you could tell us more about the genesis of how you became interested in becoming a health coach and leading up to starting your brand and kind of beyond.
So we'll keep it in 2-minute version. So let's see. I'm currently 39 years young. I started in the health and wellness field when I was 7. So I literally started eating, breathing, and working out and thinking, health and wellness, or at least in that arena, at a very early age. And it was just something that for me, I always grew on it. I really loved it. I could sink myself into it because I used to get picked on a lot when I was little. So for me, I was always thinking about how can I get bigger? Well, eating and lifting weights was that outlet for me. So it really led me into understanding, a lot about food. And at an early age, I really knew that there was a lot more to nutrition than just a protein or a carbohydrate. Like there has to be some type of link to help reverse symptoms, to reverse challenges, to help with brain function, digestion. I knew there was more, just had a big void in, actually what that was. So fast forward until about 18, 19 years old, I started working as a personal trainer. Actually, when I was 15, but I really started getting into it in my 18s and 19s. And I actually started going to school for sports management. Went for about 2 years, decided it was pretty boring and nothing I really did really held my attention. So I got out of it 89 hours into college. And went back to Houston, Texas, where I started working as a personal trainer at 24 Hour Fitness. So that's where I really started, my real life education, I would say, because when I started that's when I actually started getting all my accredited information and certifications through National Academy of Sports Medicine and all the way up into Institute of Integrative Nutrition. But currently got about 22, 23 different ones. And it's only because I started doing them really early. I found that after about a year, I worked my way into management where I was running personal trainers or training them or managing them, anywhere between 16 and 23 of them. And that's actually what got me into Austin, as I got presented the opportunity to come up here and manage the training department in Austin, Texas from Houston. So I came up here the same day and I was like, I'm out of Houston, signed a lease, ended up in Austin in 2000. And that's where I really started to dive into, I say, the corporate world, because I was around public people all the time, servicing people, helping them reach their goals, and realized there was a massive void in results and how people were getting them. So no one really understood how to eat. Trainers were not educated in how to eat. It was like working out. And I don't care if you don't work out. If you know how to eat, you're still going to get results. So there's just some things that I wasn't really too enthusiastic about, and I saw some gaps in what was going on. So over the time, fast forward about 5 or 6 years, I was like, I'm tired of working 80 hours a week, getting there at dark time, leaving at dark time, and basically being a public servant, because that's what I was. I was like, there's got to be a way to create more value with the gaps and the things that I understand and create more money, because ultimately that's what we're really looking to do, right? So about 2007, 2008, we started a brand called Corporate Fit, which is where we used to help teach the Healthy Living for Leaders to the Leadership Austin program here in Austin. And we used to help teach Dell and Freescale alongside HEB. And that's where we kind of get into the whole corporate market. We used to do a lot of educational classes for the state of Texas and all the different buildings and things. And I really love the education aspect of it. I really love teaching and sharing, because that's where I feel one of my biggest gifts is, to be able to serve. I just realized still then that I wasn't getting the type of financial outcome that I would have liked to. So I was like, all right, let's make some shift and some adjustments. So with that, probably 2017 coming up. So we've probably had Think Great Lose Weight for really about 3 years. So about 4 or 5 years, we were doing the whole corporate deal, and we started making some shifts, started working with a different coach, James Malinchak at the time, and came up with the idea of Think Great Lose Weight. We liked it because Think Great is really the key to anything you're going to do. I mean, it's about working smarter versus harder. And when you understand the concepts and the different philosophies that apply to you and your genetic makeup, which is the big deal, because honestly, there's a ton of stuff out there and there's a lot of truth to all of it, because it works for someone. You just got to find out what that is for you and be able to track and to be able to measure your data, just like you're doing with marketing or emails or sales or whatever. You got to be able to track your results, because if you're not tracking them, you don't know what's going on. So I kind of got into doing that. We started Think Great Lose Weight really about 3 years ago. And this is where we really started. I wouldn't say getting serious because we already were serious. Just getting serious on, look, my whole outcome is to serve 200 million people and to receive money while I'm asleep. What does that look like? How do I do it? How do I automate myself? How do I get more Brian Johnsons in the world to provide more value, to be able to support and to share, and ultimately to create more miracles in people's lives? So with those questions and those voids that I had, that's kind of what got us up to right now. So really what I do is I really, for the most of the time, don't leave my house. And this is where I'm at, my office at the house. So a lot of the times I basically do holistic health and wellness coaching. I really say health and wellness coaching is what I do, yes, but it's more around the idea of lifestyle coaching, because I do so much more than work with people's nutrition. That's about 5% of the equation. You know, I help people to understand where they're glitched at emotionally, why they keep having cyclical patterns in their relationships or their jobs, or why their weight keeps going up and down, or why they're having depression thoughts, and why they keep having things with mom and dad, like all of that stuff, like really getting into the core of what people are really having challenges with underneath their awareness. So my gifts and specialties is understanding body language, like understanding itches and scratches, and understanding language code. So when someone's talking and they're stuttering 2, 3, 4, 5 times, it's not because they have a stuttering challenge. It's because each stutter, 2, 3, 4, it's all emotional information. 2 is apathy, 3 is sorrow, 4 is fear. And our bodies are consistently giving out feedback to help us consciously understand where we're operating at emotionally. And when you understand that, naturally you can see the value of being in proper alignment, so that as you're moving forward, the work that you're doing is in the quote unquote, I don't like the word right place, let's say smart place. It's actually allowing you to make decisions and to take action steps in full congruency, because if not, everything you're doing is you're wasting time, because it's not going to be in alignment with what your highest choices and what your highest options are. So that is important. So that's a short version of it.
It's a good point, because definitely in your name, because if you don't have your thought patterns right, your body is not going to fall like in alignment. You can't change, I guess, your chemicals. You can't change your patterns, and that's important to the success. So tell me more about the Think Great Lose Weight, from like, hey, what kind of programs you're offering?
Yeah.
And how people come into I guess like your funnel or your world.
I mean, here in a nutshell, kind of here's what we do. 99.9% of my business and services is in Facebook. So when someone comes across our page, really what we do is we run traffic, or we basically boost likes to our page based off a certain clientele that we have, or a certain avatar, or a certain individual. So we do 4 free Facebook trainings a week at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Think Great Lose Weight. And really, this is where most of our transactions come from, outside of my personal clients and referrals that I have on a one-on-one level, or my 6-week coaching programs, or my masterminds, or something like that. Be a fly on the wall to your own communication and to what you're doing with other people, because you will be surprised at how many people will say, I don't know, and then keep talking. And it's an unconscious statement. They're completely unaware of it until now. And you'll be surprised at how long this stuff has been going on. There's literally so many programs and things that are running in our background that we have no idea, that we're just reacting and showing up off of. Well, my invitation to you is to consider this. If you're still operating on an operating system of a 1970s computer mentally, or later, that's still going on. And if you think about our computers and our brain and our subconscious as a computer, today is a great day to upgrade your software, so you can start experiencing more joy, so you can start experiencing more love, more happiness, more prosperity, because all of that is congruent. And when you step into understanding what is actually holding you back from achieving or having that, that's a big deal. So that's what we go through in all of our emotional breakthrough series. We've got another nutrition empowerment series, which goes through a wide myriad of different foods, and there's a lot of things. We're unbiased on certain things, so we kind of talk about a lot of foundational stuff, which I'm a huge believer in mastering the basics. There's no special formula to success. It's being persistent, it's being objective, being open-minded to change, and to make adjustments when things aren't working. It's really, you take the emotion out of it and base it on data, then it's a pretty rational conversation.
A lot of people, hopefully, listening to this will say, okay, look, I need this, I need that, like, or they want to improve those areas, because we all, in 2017, a lot of people were thinking about hey, how I'm going to make this the best year? How I'm going to make it better than last year? What can I correct course and all that stuff? So we're going to be talking a bit more about that. So I guess kind of while we're on it though, I was curious. So you did mention your best acquisition channel, I think, is Facebook and email. If you could kind of expand upon some strategies you use to pull people in and kind of expand the value that you offer through those.
For sure. So I'll share our whole Facebook strategy with you. So really what we do is we invest about $1,500 a month. And we basically, my nose is itching like crazy right now. Basically what we'll do is we have our like campaign. We're getting about 200 likes a day for super cheap, 9 cents to 17 cents. It went up to 17 cents because we changed some of our avatar up, started targeting more men. So we got about a 60-40 split, 60 women, 40% men. It was down to 9 cents a like. So what happens is when someone comes in and raises their hand and says, all right, I like your stuff, what happens is we automatically retarget them for 1 cent all of our live video trainings that we do. So all the Facebook live trainings that we do Monday through Thursday, we run $50 of traffic to those through Monday of the next week. So that way I've got programs that are just basically information people can consume of high value all week long. You can get on any of my trainings at 7 o'clock. There's anywhere from 400 to probably 700 or 800 people on there right now. It didn't used to be that way. Literally like 2 years ago, that was nothing. So it's been a consistent, interesting journey. So basically we'll retarget people who have raised their hand, say, hey, we like your stuff, with our live training videos for 1 cent. People like that, they'll either A, get on our email list, which is where we provide a lot of value. I'll be honest with you, totally being authentic and Brian with you. I don't really care for email. I know it's important because it's a leveraged asset, which means no matter what, you can take it with you with whatever you do, and you have people who have shown an interest in liking your stuff. I have found, in my personal opinion, that unless you've got a pretty decent sized list, it can be a challenge to be able to create, not necessarily rapport. Well, yes, and because depending upon what your open rates are, if nobody's opening your stuff, it doesn't matter what you're putting out because no one's actually reading it. So being able to have high value content that catches people's interest, that is either fights or goes against or is completely opposite of what everything else that's going through your email list, because it has to have something to catch your eye to be able to actually go in and watch it. So figuring out what your headlines are, in my opinion, that's the most important thing you can do. Get some skills and some instructions from high-level copywriters. That's something that I've been investing a lot of time in myself. Because here's the thing. I love the fact of being able to write a post or put out a video and have people coming to me for conversations to support them or to potentially enlist them into something to empower themselves to be the best version of themselves. And unless you're a great copywriter or great on video and or both, ideally, that can be a challenge. So we only really have about 1,530 people, about 1,530 people. So not a lot of people on our email list. Although we've got about 62,000 people on our fan page right now. So strategy wise, people will either enlist in some of our digital programs off of Facebook Live, or they will message me for conversations and we'll hop on the phone and I'll see what's a good fit for them and just kind of take it from there. I mean, if it's someone's looking to work with me on a one-on-one level, it's definitely by application consideration only. I don't work with just everyone. It's got to be a person who's extremely serious and committed to their outcome and being willing and open-minded to do the work and receive the feedback. So that's definitely a different space. But that's kind of in a nutshell, like what we do on our marketing and kind of how we do it, and it's the exact strategy of what we do behind our marketing right now.
Yeah. I mean, I like some of your emails. Definitely like your Facebook channel, and I could see, how different things work better for different people. So Facebook, you're on it. You go on. You know all the terminology. You know how to engage your audience. You're very comfortable with video, so I don't see why you wouldn't leverage that, as a good marketing tool.
For sure.
Email is kind of somewhat challenging for some folks, or somewhat outside of the scope of connecting with their intended audience in some ways. So I hear what you're saying. In terms of the markets that you're actually in, like health. And some of the body language and stuff like that, it's what people consider like super saturated. Like I know why, for me, how you stick out. But for, you, what have you identified of folks coming in to Brian Johnson to think great, lose weight? What have you identified and saying, hey, look, this is working. This is how I'm actually sticking out, and I need to do more of that to get a bigger audience and grow your audience?
I mean, honestly, the basic common thread is be the best version of you. So there really is no competition. It's a matter of being so good at what you do, it's impossible to be forgotten. And when someone actually has an experience with you, that you empower them with so much value that it's like kind of like the dumbass close. You got to be a dumbass to leave because you've gotten so much value and your life has changed so much that why would it make sense to do something else? So really all I do is show up being the best version of myself. I'll tell you the tools that I use that allow me to create miracles consistently for people is, I already mentioned it, is body language, and it's emotional breakthrough, which is all the language codes, which is identifying stuttering patterns, which is identifying when someone's disconnected, is being able to use that information and consistently create miracles for people that are willing to show up. That's what allows me to have a great, I say, conversion rate. It really allows me to have viral people in my community that consistently get served, that consistently get results. And they honestly, they're what allows me to do what I do, because they share my information, they promote it to their friends. And it's because God's blessed me to support them, and I let him fully do what he does through me as I'm talking and as I'm being able to share. And my whole commitment is just show up being the best version that I am, and just empowering them to do the same thing with the tools necessary to do that. And the ones that I found that work the best, and even when people call me for nutrition talks is like 5% of it. It's all language. It's all emotional stuff. It's understanding why your body has diabetes, or why you're having a stroke, or why you're having a heart attack. It's the emotional components prior to that actually create that as a catalyst. So it's that information that really allows me to stick out when someone actually gets to come into our experience, because it's some on nutrition, but really it's about thinking great. Like, what in me can I improve on to dramatically improve the quality and quantity of my life and the trajectory of where it's going? And it's having a wide plethora of information from being involved in this field for so long to be able to figure out like what's really going on. Why is this person having this experience? What are the glitches behind the scenes that they're not seeing? So that's just the information that God's blessed me with to be able to use and to be able to support and help people, surely because of the amount of time I've been doing it and because of the passion that I have for it. Like, I would do this whether I got paid for it or not. For a long time, I didn't get paid for doing it, and I still love doing it. So just figure out a way to finally marry the two.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I know I've seen a lot of testimonials on your site. Like we discussed before, you work with actors, probably like CEOs, business owners, different folks. I've seen a lot of your testimonials. If you could kind of like, I guess, percolate all that, what are some things that you've done to, when they do come in your funnel, you coach them, you actually deal with the root cause of their issue, so it could actually fix whatever condition is going on with them long term. How do you increase the value once you start talking to them, and then how does that really look from the customer? I guess the customer's journey.
So what I help people to do is I help them to be the best versions of themselves by identifying and understanding body language, understanding language code, and when they're saying things that aren't serving them, and then most importantly, what to change in its place so they can re-empower themselves with the truth and necessary to be able to go forward. Naturally, that's what we're looking for, right? So the key is, for me, is meeting someone where they're at, because everyone's different. There's not a person I've worked with, over 80,000 people at this point, not a single one of them the same. So being able to help them identify where their challenges are and get to the root causes of what's actually creating that, and then give them some new skill sets to place in that, and give them some consistent feedback and accountability to help to rewire how they're operating. So
the beginning of the year, a lot of people mean to go to the gym, and within a few weeks after that, the gym starts to kind of lose some of the numbers. What kind of advice do you give people that are listening to this to kind of stay the course?
Well, here's my first piece of advice, lovingly. My first encouragement to you is to be doing the things you should be doing year round. So New Year's is another day for me. Some of the things that I work on is mastering the basics. Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to die without is air. How can I breathe free air deeper? I can breathe more air into my stomach. I can consciously breathe every hour and take some breaths in and just make sure that I'm maximizing that component. I can drink more water. Am I drinking the best type of water? Am I aware of what water I'm even drinking? Am I drinking tap water? There's things you can do on that level. Foods, being able to eat foods that are less processed, maybe eat more vegan and vegetarian options. I do some of both. You got to figure out what works for you. But those are really some basic things you can do. And I think it's really important to understand that you don't have to be in a gym. Matter of fact, I probably go to the gym twice a week for 30 minutes to an hour. That's it. I used to lift a lot of weights. Now I do Pilates twice a week. I do my best to do jiu-jitsu anywhere from 2 to 3 days a week. And then I'll do kickboxing 2 to 3 days a week. I love those. For me, they fill a lot of needs. They fill my certainty because I know how I'm going to feel when I'm done. They feel my uncertainty because I never know if I'm going to get punched in the face or get something crazy happen. So significance, love, and connection is a great group of friends and family members that are there. And there's growth and contribution there. So for me, it fills a lot of needs, which is important. The most important thing you can do is do something that you love. If you don't love it, don't do it. Because the last thing you want to do is attach a negative feeling or meaning to something that's supposed to be empowering you. And I'll tell you this much. If you're not doing anything to create the best physical version of you, you're totally missing out on your human experience. This is your vehicle to go through life.
Let's segue into this. Okay, so we're sitting right now, right? A lot of business owners or just people working in an office, they're sedentary, right? So what do you recommend to these folks to, be more healthy, more productive throughout the day?
I'll show you. Here's what I have. So every hour, I will do my best to take a little break. And here's what I have. This is a great little tool. So first off, it's a ball. You've probably seen one of these. Here's the cool part. It's got a little pedestal on it that you can use as a chair. Works great posturally, but what I like doing is every hour, since most of the time when we're doing computer stuff, we're sitting here doing the old, you know what I mean?
Right.
Your shoulders are forward, your body's hunched up, your hip flexors are tight, your calves are tight. And what I'll do on this thing is every hour, I'll literally set an alarm on my phone every 30 minutes. I work for 30 minutes at a time, take a break for 5 minutes. Maybe it's an hour if I'm in the groove. But what I'll do after that is I'll literally take a 3 or 4 minute break. I'll stretch. If it's nice outside, I'll take my bike for a stroll around the block just to change up scenery, get some nature, refresh my mind, and then come back, and I'm way more productive than I would be if I was just sitting here grinding it out.
So we were having an internet marketing expo in May the 20th and 21st in Austin, Texas. There's going to be a lot of people networking, business owners, marketing managers, just different folks networking. What body language techniques or just like quick things they can use to connect with people faster or better at networking events?
Simple. So here's the thing. Like right now, I'm sitting, no matter where you're at, I'm sitting with my right shoulder towards you, this is my authoritative direction teaching position. All right. So here's the easiest way. I'm just going to give you some very basic stuff. If you're really looking to connect with someone, that means you get to be fully present, listening to them and hearing them without thinking about how you can solve or service them. Okay. If that's the case, and I'm looking to do that, I'm always going to be with my left shoulder towards someone. Even if I'm on the phone with someone, I may have my earpiece in my left ear. Even if they're in China and I'm on the phone with them, I'll have the phone in my left ear or I'll have the phone in my hand. That's so you understand. If you cut your body down right down the middle, this is all in our body language series. The right side of your body is your masculine side or your doing side or your action side. Okay. The left side of your body is your feminine side or your receptive or receiving side, which means my left ear is for hearing and receiving information. Like you can even tell while I'm talking right now, just do the little ninja game. Sit on your right side and listen to what I'm saying. And here's what I notice. If I'm on my right side, I'm a little bit more antsy. I'm a bit more in the mindset of I can go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. As soon as I shift, I'm like, oh, my butt actually sits down in my chair and I'm like, okay, that's great. Let me figure out, what else is going on? How do you feel? What are you noticing? What are your symptoms? What's your mindset like? And it literally, for me, it's an immediate shift, and it really is a calming down of my energy because I'm switching over to feminine energy versus masculine, which is I'm being more of the receiving aspect and just sitting into it and listening with my left ear, which allows me to be fully present without trying to solve it. As soon as I get all the information and they're like, blah, 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 and then we're done, I'm like, all right, well, here we go. And I'll literally switch my positions. And here's the thing. I'm so subconsciously competent at this now because of the amount of time I have invested in studying and mastering and being a student of it. Sometimes when I'm thinking about it and we're in the middle of a conversation for 5 or 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, wow, let's check in and see if I'm maximizing our experience. My body's already done it. I'm already in the position. I'm like, all right, good job. Carry on. But that's only because I've studied it so much and practiced so much that it's literally ingrained in how I think and process information. My goal for you, depending upon if you're looking to master yourself, is understanding body language and language code that efficient that it's just how you operate, period.
Just kind of in closing, we have, I guess, a few more minutes. So out of curiosity, what question do you find when you talk to folks, like interview you or like when they talk to you, like in a coaching setting, or, student setting, what do you find that they often miss when their curiosity? I'm asking you a question. What would you want them to ask you, or what do you find that they miss when they're talking to you that you would want them to ask?
It's a good question. Here's what comes up for me. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do, what you've done, or where you're trying to go. If you don't love yourself, your default is automatic failure, period. What I would suggest is like asking yourself, like if I ask you the question, do you love yourself? And your answer is anything but yes, that means you don't. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just where you're at. Yeahs and sures and absolutes, that's not yes, okay? And all I'm doing is basing my information and wisdom off of scriptural laws. I'm not talking religion. As you start getting into a lot of our information, it's about laws. Let your yes be your yes and your no be your no. By your words, you're justified, and by your words, you're condemned. These are not my words, okay? And when you align with them, they work every time. That's why our information works every time when it's used and applied appropriately. So if you don't love yourself, the best advice I could give you is let's have a conversation. Allow me to share with you what I've experienced to help you out, because until you do, there is no moving forward.
So I think we're almost out of time. There's a lot to take in. So hopefully, the people that are watching this are going to watch it over and over again. I know I will. So there's a lot of nuggets, if you will.
Repetition is the mother of skill.
Yeah. So my biggest takeaway so far, I'm gonna have to go through it again, is to find your center, because your center, if you find all the things like the body language, your mental condition, your mental health, if you find all those balance points, the center, then you're gonna get sick less. You're gonna live a better quality of life. Those are my biggest takeaways so far. So in closing, what else would you like people to know? Any other thoughts that you would like to kind of throw out there?
I mean, we covered so much information. Really, the next step is like, if you're really serious about making some improvements in your life, the best value I could give you is just offer you about a 15-minute conversation for free on myself. And 15 minutes, you may like, that's not a lot of time. It's a lot of time. If you wanted an hour of my time, I charge you $1,000. But what I'm going to do for free for you is give you 15 minutes. And I can tell you this much: if you're open-minded and serious to making changes, 15 minutes is a lot of time to uncover some things that can dramatically shift your life. So if you're more serious and curious and ready to take advantage of that, here's what you can do. Text the number 48421. That will pull up my schedule, but put the word in there, or the 2 words, think great, all one word, no spaces. So text 48421. Text think great with no spaces, and that will take you to my online scheduler. Just pick a time that works for you, and we can set a time to have a conversation. And as long as you're open-minded, I consistently see miracles happen every day. So it's just really going to matter if you're willing to show up fully and be authentic with yourself. And just understand, I love you. I'm not here to judge you or to do anything less than help you and empower you with the skill sets necessary for you to be your best. And I'll leave that link for you, Adam, so that people choose to go back and check out the foam rolling video that I did. You can have free access to it on there.
Because that's a great value. That's an awesome value that you're offering. So take advantage for those that listen that are serious. So, but I really appreciate your time today, Brian. Like me, if you're like me, rewatch this a couple times, take some notes, and implement. Take some action on some of the things that are Brian's saying, and find out what works for you.
Implementation is the key.
Yes, yes. So Brian, I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time. And I know a lot of people will get a lot of value out of this. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. My pleasure.
Have a good day.